Drag racing fan, live between the slicks. It is. I'm Lee Kraft, the Monday Morning Racer, and we're going to be talking about what? Drag racing. That is why we're here. That is why you're here. That is what we're going to talk about. Drag racing tonight, and do it, I think, well, in the most diverse fashion that there is. We're obviously going to be diving into drag news here pretty soon. Going to have the man from Drag and Drive Addiction. Why does he call that? Because he's addicted, and he truly is. We're going to be chatting with him, Mr. Michael Narks. Have some Narks effect here on Between the Slicks. He's going to bring us up to speed on what transpired last week, sick week, that was completed, and big news was dropped today in the Drag and Drive world. We're going to be going over that with the rest of drag news, and as our main guest tonight, Jake Opatrny. He's going to be on with us. We actually had him on last year, 2 years ago, maybe, right when he licensed in Dale Worsham's Top Fuel dragster. We chatted with him, and has come a long way. He's got that national event under his belt. He blew up a motor, and he's been testing a funny car, and he's done a lot and continues to move his motorsports operation, hopes and dreams forward, along with Leverage Racing. So we're looking forward to talking with Jake later on the night. Basically bring the continuation of his story to everyone. So you can go and later on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel, see interview number 1 right here after interview number 2, and just see how far he has come and where he is going in his trajectory, which I think is onward and upward for sure. We're looking forward to chatting with him and everything that's going on in his world. And in my world, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to let you all know that, yes, it is confirmed. I will be going to my first ever March meet. I am looking forward to this one, the 65th anniversary of the March meet at the famed Famoso Dragway in Bakersfield, California. It's going to have the biggest purse of all of the meets that have been ran to date. Looking forward to being at that historic race. It is certainly one of those that in the drag racing world, you have to mark off the list. I think the list is something like you got to attend a Hot Rod Drag Week. You've got to attend a U.S. Nationals. You have to attend a World Series of Drag Racing at Cordova. You have to attend the March meet. These are those type of events that you have got to mark off the list. And looking forward to being there, be there with Competition Plus, be handling their peak auto pit notes, and getting you all coverage in photograph and in film. Well, in video, because we don't use film anymore, but in video right here for the Monday Morning Racer platform from that historic, storied, must-attend event. Glad to be going west for that one. Hello to everyone tuning in. Drag and Drive chimes in, says it's going to be a good one. Jake is a beast. Yes, looking forward to talking to Mike. Looking forward to talking to Jake. John Tillman says excited for Jake. It's good to have an individual back on, and we've got a situation where first time we had Jake on, just got the license. Well, now it's beyond got the license, beyond the national event. And it's good to get the update and see progression. Love that for sure. American Hot Rod Entertainment with Yo. And Ford Purley. I'm jealous of you going. Enjoy yourself. Stay safe. Buy souvenirs. I plan on doing that. I've got to get me a March meet hoodie. And if they have hats, get a hat. And you never know. Maybe someone will blow up a funny car and I can take pieces of a funny car home. No, I hope no one blows up a funny car. But if it does happen, I will be opportunistic and try to get a piece of a funny car. And I'm just looking forward to talking to the folks in that particular realm of drag racing, that pocket of drag racing. You know, Ron Capps, Tuesday night, had him on the Competition Plus Power Hour, and he was talking about places to go eat. So I'm going to go back, watch that. I think he mentioned like Zingo's, and go to those places, snap a photo. I was there. I enjoyed it. It was great. And do the March meet thing. Looking forward to that. Yes, Death Trap Hot Rods. That's going to be a great time at March meet. It's going to be great. And them running for the biggest purse ever for that event. You know they're going to be putting it on the line. It is going to be a cool event for sure. I'm looking forward to being there. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break here very soon and then roll into drag news. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you watching. If you would please hit the like button, hit the share button, send this to a friend in Messenger or in text and tell them to watch and come enjoy the chat around drag racing. We want to welcome the Competition Plus audience on Facebook and the Drag Racing Connection audience on Facebook as well. And you're watching this on the Monday Morning Racer platform, Facebook, Twitter, and the YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to that YouTube channel as we take this break. Right after the break, drag news.
The drag racing life and the RV life seem to go hand in hand like nitromethane and superchargers. And when you are traveling through the Lone Star State and you're needing work done on your RV, well, DFW RV Center is your star to contact.
And in drag news, we're going to kick it off with Mr. Michael Narks here, the dude, the man when it comes to drag and drive. And, you know, I just thought we were going to have a chat about Sick Week, and we're definitely going to be talking about that in a few moments. But, dude, Drag Week dropped the schedule today.
I'm so excited.
And, I'm so excited, too. Like, it's like my home tracks. It's like tracks that I have been to, legendary tracks like Darlington and Rockingham and Bristol, Carolina Dragway, House of Hook. I mean, man, that is going to be a stellar hot rod drag week coming up in September, and it is also going to be grueling. Before we got on the show, talk to you so Rockingham to Bristol, most direct route, and they never go the most direct route.
No.
Most direct is 4 hours, 18 minutes. Bristol to Carolina Dragway. So through Tennessee, through North Carolina, into South Carolina. We're talking about Bristol's like on the edge with Virginia. 4 hours, 42 minutes, most direct route, and it is going to be a bit hilly for that first part.
So here's what's really cool about that. Drag Week has always been brutal, but when you start putting that kind of stuff in, man, because what people have to understand about driving your hot rod from track to track, it's not like putting it on a trailer and driving 65 in your tow rig. I mean, you're driving 55. If you average 40 miles an hour, you're doing something in a drag and drive. So what may take everybody else 4 hours and 42 minutes, that's 8 hours in a hot rod.
Dude, I mean, like, I almost wonder with I don't know what the longest distance from track to track has been on Hot Rod Drag Week. Yeah. You may know, but
yeah, it's a little over 400 miles. I think they ran Amarillo, Texas to Memphis or something one year, or Amarillo. No, that wouldn't be right. Amarillo to Tulsa or something like. I think it was Amarillo to Tulsa is 400 miles.
Man,
and you had to race and then race again the next day with 400 miles in between.
The Bristol to Carolina one may very well be touching that limit with the terrain factor of up and down the mountains. Yeah. And look, mid-September in the Southeast, it's not cool. This is going to be grueling.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty intense. The people that have participated in Rocky Mountain Race Week, I think, will have good chance at taking some of that mountainous experience and using it. You know, maybe they can use it. We can have some Rocky Mountain winners win Drag Week, you know?
Right. Now, the Drag Week tour, if you will, is not unaccustomed to being in the Southeast. I remember one time they did one starting out from Atlanta, and I think Bristol was even on that list. So they've done the Southeast before. This is nothing new.
Yep. They typically like to stay east of the Mississippi for sure.
And on this list, I'm so happy for Rockingham.
Yeah.
Rockingham, with the new owners, they are putting in a lot of effort. You can see updates almost every day. They're working on that starting line.
Yep.
They're getting it ready to go for many more years of great drag racing action. And I'm so glad they got this nod, and they're not even done yet, that they're going to have later on the biggest event in drag and drive, and they're going to make a stop in Richmond County, North Carolina at The Rock. That's so cool.
It's going to be really neat for them to be there, because there's so many tracks in that part of the country that they're not just the racing part is great, but also the spectator. We love, people want to race in front of people, but generally on a Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. is not the best time to race if you're looking for spectators. But I'm telling you right now, and I've said it last night on our live stream, with the amount of fast cars that are coming this year, Drag Week is going to be, that's when records are going to be set. We're going to have more fast cars this year at more events than we've ever seen ever. And, 18 years of drag and drive events.
If the conditions are right when they're at Darlington, where they kick it off and they end it, that is one of the best surfaces there is.
Yeah.
It is known for records with bad fast door cars and pro mods. If the conditions are right, I wouldn't be shocked at all if there's resetting marks for Hot Rod Drag Week coming up. It's going to be stellar. It's going to be stellar. But man, look, Sick Week. It's in the books.
Wild.
I think probably easily number 2 event in the drag and drive world, even already.
Yeah.
What did you think about it? Who were the winners? What were the and it had everything from parts failure, carnage to success. Glad no one got killed. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was absolutely intense. The racing at that level for the 850 class stuff, that's the class I love. I always preach about them. It was intense. I'm telling you, guys one race came out to an average difference of 0.0008 for an class 5-day passes, creating an average difference. It was absolutely intense. Aaron Schaefer, he is the 4th person in history to ever run an 8500 at the track, or 85000 at the track. Completely perfect pass. He ends up almost resetting the 850 record. He currently holds it with an 85105 average, and he ended the week with an 85106 average. Absolutely insane. It was intense. And so William Lujan and Jordan Boudreau were racing for Street Race 275, and were literally side by side for the last race of their time, and it created the winner. So whoever won that race, which was William Lujan, would have won their class. It was wild. It came down to that kind of passes, everybody running around. I was doing the math. I actually had to come home a little early with family stuff. And so I'm at home watching the live stream, doing math on my little Excel spreadsheets, trying to see, oh man, what did that pass equal out to? And all that. It was intense. And just before I jumped on, I was actually running a report to see, one, how many people were at Sick Week that competed in 2022. And there were 172 people that competed at a drag and drive event in 2022 that also competed at Sick Week. And 62 of those were faster this year than they were last year. So I love seeing that. A lot of my friends went faster. Doc McIntyre and Jeff McConnell in the C-Red Camaro, fastest naturally aspirated drag and drive car in history, with a 771 average. And then Jason and Amanda Tabscott came out in their 70 Camaro and reset their naturally aspirated small block record with an 8.596, I think, something like that. So it's pretty intense, man. It was an intense week. So I'm trying to run through all the others. So you have Michael Westberg in the S10, which is now already sold. He's already pulling the motor out of it, which is crazy, with a 6:46 average at the end of the week, which is faster than his drag week. You had Stefan Gustafsson, who won the event last year, comes in second this year overall. Alex Taylor gets 4 6-second passes throughout the week, ends up with a 6-second average. She's the fastest woman in drag and drive history. She was the fastest woman in drag and drive history as well, but she reset her own record. So from 750 to 698.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
doing it in a car that, I mean, aerodynamic do that.
Yeah, it is not aerodynamic. It's got a big hole in the front. Yeah. Yep.
It's a beautiful piece, but you were trying to propel a brick through there.
Yeah, exactly right. And that car has a lot of carbon fiber on it that's hand laid by Dennis. I mean, it's pretty neat setup there for sure. Their trailer is super cool. If anyone ever gets by an event that they are at, please go by and look at their drag and drive trailer.
Hey man, look, to me that is, if I get to do drag week again and cover it, I definitely want to have a segment for the trailers this year, because the how people consider laying out their trailer and being able to find this quickly, and that this is here and that's there. That's a whole art in and of itself. It's the engineering that goes into it. It's fascinating.
The biggest thing is time. You start thinking about, a lot of the fans maybe watching this are used to going to the track and being there all day to make passes till the end of the night. Well, you're trying to make one pass. So you're trying to pull up, swap from street tires to race tires, make one pass as fast as you possibly can, and then swap it all back over and get back on the road, because you're fixing to drive 8 hours. For drag week, I'm telling you, that 4 hours and 42-minute trip, that's going to be brutal. That's an all-nighter, man. Dude, and then imagine you have a fuel pump issue, you have a radiator issue, something like that on the side of the road, dude. I mean, you saw it when you came to drag week. People are breaking stuff. You talked about all of the carnage earlier. This is the highest rate of attrition we have ever seen at any drag and drive event, and it is because people were hanging the rides out of these things, trying to get as much, as many passes, especially for the 850 class and the DYO class, which is the dial your own, because those guys are trying to be as consistent as possible, but they can't go too fast. They can't go any fast. The DYO class had a spread of 0.034 from their slowest pass of the week to their fastest pass of the week across 5 days at 4 different tracks. It's
drag
intense,
and drive.
Man.
It is. It is intense, and you would think the strategy would be like go a little soft and pick up the speed and get harder as you go and faster as you go. And these guys, they're laying it out oftentimes that first run. Yeah. And saw it at drag week. Oh, that was good enough. We're going to roll them down the road. And it's like,
here's what I'll tell you. Devin Vanderhoof, for everybody, he would be great to have on your show, because he is a wealth of knowledge. But they put on a clinic. They made one pass every day during the week. 460s is what they ended up with. It's a new 8th mile record for like an 8th mile only class that we keep on the dragandrive.com lists, right? So 464 average for it. 8th mile, and then Sheldon Root run another 4-second average, third time in history we've seen that. So it was intense, man. It was really intense, and that's on a 235 tire.
Get those guys tuning a no prep car, and off the trailer, no test kit, and going out there, because that's basically what they're doing. That is wildly impressive.
Devin does a lot of that in the Southeast.
There you go.
a lot of no prep grudge cars.
So, Mike, what is out there on the horizon very soon for drag racers, drag racing fans in the drag and drive world? What's out there coming up quickly?
Yeah, so we have the next thing is not until April with Southeast Street and Yeet, which is run by Devin and those guys. It is a 4-day event in the Carolinas. There's actually 5 events in the Carolinas this year. Pretty insane.
Wow. Wow.
So Street and Yeet is a 8th mile only event. So lots and lots of very fast cars there. And then you roll right from that. The next weekend is our own personal event in Joplin, Missouri at Mocan Dragway, one of the homes of Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos and all that stuff. So love those guys. We'll be there April 14th through 15th. And then the weekend after that is Cruise and Lose in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay,
so
very cool.
We're going to be running. So we got to wait until April now. So can somebody start one in March? Maybe call it spring break or something.
Yeah, spring break. Run it. Actually, go run in Mexico. Everybody is already, but go actually to Mexico and run.
Yeah. There's some Tijuana strips, I think, out on the street close to me here. So
right. They're going to Mexico. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Everybody runs down to Mexico for the weekend for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, look, thank you for the update. Before we let you go, plug where people can find you and stay up to date in the best fashion on Drag and Drive.
Yes, certainly. Probably the best place to find us is Instagram. I post there all the time under drag-in-drive. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. We have a big YouTube presence as well. And then we run a weekly live stream on Wednesday nights that has Drag and Drive centric guests. And then on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern, I do a Drag and Drive news, which is like this setup here. It's 30 minutes, hard-hitting info. Do that every week. We did just have Summit come on, and they are sponsoring the Drag and Drive News and the Drag and Drive Show. So I'd love to have those guys on, and Molly and all of our sponsors, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk, and Howard's Cams. So a lot of fun coming up. I'll tell you that much for 2023.
All right, stellar, man.
Yep.
Good news to hear.
Thanks,
you keep up the good work. Thanks for dropping in.
Yep. See you, man.
Guys, if you want to stay up to date on Drag and Drive, Mike, the Narcs, man, is the place to do it, a Drag and Drive addiction. Now, continuing in Drag and Drive, in Drag News, I love this. I'm going to bring up this photo of Joe and Kathy Maynard, and these two people, obviously, a lot of news with them connected to Tony Schumacher, now Tim Wilkerson, what they're doing in the pro ranks and the nitro ranks. But they announced that they're going to have a driver development program, and it's going to go all the way from junior dragsters up to super stock. So in their junior dragster associated with them in their driver development program, you're looking at Mr. Waylon Bennett Jr. In her Super Comp dragster, Miss Kaylee Hill here is going to be getting the help from the Maynard family. And then in Super Stock, Wyatt Wagner in Super Stock, beautiful machine there that he is ready to take that backing from the Maynard family and get down the track and win more Wallies. I love to hear that you've got these people that it's not just about nitro, and there's a bigger picture. And, I have heard Sam Smith, I know DRC has mentioned it, I have mentioned, but we need driver development programs, and we're getting it. And I hope this is one step of many steps for many other teams doing something similar, that Toyota, with all their great involvement in drag racing, like the one thing they don't really have is a driver development program like they do in other motorsports. It would be cool to see that they would put that in drag racing. It would be cool to see that all the other OEMs do that as well. But if the other OEMs aren't going to do it, because I think Toyota would be the prime suspect to do something like that, then Ron Capps Racing, why not? Antron Brown, AB Motorsports, why not? And he actually does have plans for it. I need to get Antron Brown on the show, need to talk with him. I had a great conversation with him last year at testing at Virginia Motorsports Park, and I was talking with him while he was outside of his car because someone else was driving it, and that intrigued me. And he's got great perspective on the future of the sport and what he would like to see to impact the sport and have, yes, driver development. But this is great news from the Maynards that they are going to have driver development from junior, super comp, super stock, all the way up through the professional categories with the such of a Tony Schumacher and a Tim Wilkerson. That is very good news. It is cool news. Also, Powerbuilt, they have announced, expected this to come, but they have announced that they will be continuing to ride along with Alex Laughlin in his Jim Dunn Racing Nitro Burning NHRA Camping World Racing funny car. And Alex released just a couple of days ago what the car will look like. You're looking at it, really solid scheme in the funny car world with Haviland, Powerbuilt, Jim Dunn Racing, several other brands on there. I hope for sure this year, somehow it is worked out in all of the branding partners that Jim Dunn Racing has, that Alex Laughlin has, because you can still see DePinto, you can still see Moon Eyes, you can still see many of the similar brands, the brands we're familiar with Jim Dunn Racing. And I expect that we're going to see Moon Eyes still play a big part and have their own car at Pomona and places like that. But on that window, right in front of Menards, you will notice that classic image of Hot Wheels. Oh, how I hope that we get a Hot Wheels funny car. True Hot Wheels funny car. And like, take it back. Like, I remember Hot Wheels when I was a kid, they had a die cast of a funny car. I didn't know what kind of body it was. It was like a generic body, but it was just a dark blue and the Hot Wheels logo coming off the front tire, and it said Hot Wheels. I want that. I want that. Bring it. Bring it out. Come on, Hot Wheels. Do a full-on, you're the primary Hot Wheels funny car. I think we all want it. It needs to happen. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. Hashtag Hot Wheels funny car. Alex Laughlin. Needs to happen. Needs to happen. Josh Hart announced that his partnership with R&L Carriers, that has been extended through 2023. You can expect the R&L Carrier colors on his car throughout the year. And by the way, you can see what the car will look like this year. It does look different than the provided photo. The livery on his car this year with the R&L colors on it, good looking wrap. It's a sharp looking car. You can see that on the Josh Hart Facebook page, I know. So check it out on the Facebook page. You'll see him doing a burnout. You get a good view of what that car is going to look like, and it is a good looking car. And remember, Josh Hart, by the way, down at his speed shop, Bernese, before the Gator Nationals, the Wednesday before, they are going to be having a fan fest presented by his speed shop, his hot rod shop, Bernese, and you're going to have a lot of people there, listed and not listed, enjoying a car show and food trucks. There's going to be a 50-50 giveaways, and you're able to meet and greet with these drivers and riders. So a lot going on with the Gators. You've got Josh Hart's Fan Fest. Then we roll over Thursday night into the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame dinner, and those individuals being inducted, such as John Force this year. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a crown jewel in the sport of NHRA drag racing, the Gator Nationals. Going to be a great time. Oh, by the way, Lee Beard, yes, there to the left, he will remain with Cruz Petragon Racing and stay on as an consultant. So we saw the performance pick up for Cruz Petragon with the minds melding together there at the end of the year, and those minds will remain together rolling into 2023. Do you think Cruz will have an impact right away? Will he be a contender at the Gators? Let me go to the comment section really quick. All right, John, man, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. It says hello, Lee, Mike, Destroyer, Eric, chat, everybody. Hello to everybody. Hello to everybody. Waterbug85 says, I don't know drag and drive, but it sounds like these guys drive their race cars to the event. Yes, that's what does happen. And Waterbug, if you want an example, go in my archives on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel, and you will find a video. Just type in Monday Morning Racer and Javelin, something like that, okay? And when you do that, what you'll find is Mr. Goldstone with his AMC Javelin, basically it's AMC Javelin Pro Mod, that's street legal. And yeah, they ride it for hundreds of miles from track to track. And, they've got to keep that thing cool and got to keep the doors taped on and all that kind of stuff. They work on the car, they run it, they get their ET, their low ET, they hit the road again, and they got to transition that car. The drag and drive world is a beautiful melding of hot rodding and drag racing at the same time in some of the most purest ways I think I've ever seen it, especially in the modern day. Drag and drive is very cool, very cool. Drag Racing Central, NHRA has had a drive development issue for a while. I hope more teams follow along with it. Yes, completely love what the Maynards are doing. I hope that is something we see continue to grow in NHRA drag racing. And Motorsports Paparazzi says, what's up? Good to have you along watching as well. Dragster Jeff Kreider cruise to the front. I think it could be. That would be cool to see. I didn't pick very well with my 2022 champion pick. It was Cruz. They kind of went down a little bit, but maybe we'll see Cruz on up and to the front. Well, we're going to take a break, and after the break, we're going to bring on Mr. Jake Opatrny and talk to him about driving NHRA Top Fuel. Also, a little bit of drag and drive because he got to see that himself when he was testing an Eric Morrison's funny car. He's been a busy individual in the drag racing world. Lots to talk with him about. We're going to do that right after this break. A word from Power Built Tools, since we mentioned Power Built earlier with Alex Laughlin and Jim Dunn Racing. And by the way, guys, use these promo codes. It helps out the Monday Morning Racer, and you get a little bit off. Look, 15% off at least knocks out like the taxes and sometimes shipping and handling. Get the deals how and while you can.
Power Built Tools exemplifies innovation in the tool industry. From hand tools, power tools, and even tool storage. Check out powerbuilt.com for Power Built Tools. And remember, use promo code MMR15 for 15% off at purchase.
All right, folks. Mr. Jake Opatrny on the show. A repeat visit. Good to have you on once again, Jake. And man, what a journey from the first time. A lot more to talk about since then, and a interesting journey that it has been. You got one under your belt, testing a funny car, experiencing drag and drive. A lot to talk about. So, how's it feel to be an NHRA Top Fuel driver?
One step at a time, man. I mean, it's going through the hoops of just trying to get there and being able to live a life's dream. It's I still can't believe it happened last year. St. Louis, like I said on my interview with Amanda Busick after the unfortunate engine explosion after round 2 of qualifying, I've driven my family and friends nuts for a long time about, finally getting in a car and getting out there. But the main reason why, I was able to pull that together was I just grew tired of talking about it. It wasn't I don't really call it as a stroke of luck or anything. I just decided to test. And the one day when I finally had the money pooled together to be able to afford a nitro testing session, I gave Del Worsham a call and said that I was interested in licensing. And, the rest that happened after that is still in the works. And my history with the leverages, I actually started talking with Gary, I believe it was in 2019 was the first time I first started talking to him about potentially getting into his car and driving it. We kind of rubbed shoulders a little bit, and, we felt each other out. I was like, yeah, we do licensing runs too. If you want to drive the car, it's this much an event. And kind of touch base with him at the ropes when I was still, a fan. And a crewman on the Zizzo team. Talked to them on and off. And 2022 came around, and my license was going to expire at the end of the year. So I was put in a position where, I had some sponsorship money coming in from Local 150, the Illinois State AFL-CIO. So, I had to run, provide for the sponsors as well as keep my license current. St. Louis was hands down, it was a great learning experience. I was even more humbled about the cars and the nature of them. What that run felt like to me when we had the engine failure was the car was under power. It was under power. It felt great. And then largest patch of black ice I've ever hit in my life. So I really didn't realize, or I didn't speculate that I was on fire up until I started seeing, little shards of aluminum come into the roll cage with me. And I was like, you're in trouble. So, that was a learning experience. And I had some, pointers, from other drivers such as Cameron Foray, Terry Haddock. And there's another guy that works with Pete Dove and the Haas's. His name's Joe Pryor. And he was, they all gave me pointers. It's like, hey, next time that happens, do your best to scoot over, get out of the groove. So I learned a lot that weekend. And I plan on saying I've learned a lot at every race I go to from here on out. And if I can't say that, I'd be wasting my time and I wouldn't be doing the right thing. And I'll need to reevaluate what exactly I'm doing. So if I'm not learning 100% more at every race I go to, that would be a problem, of course. So I'm addicted to learning. I only want to improve and do better at every race I go to. And so far, my fit with the leverages, it's going along very well, I'd say. Gary and I click very well. We have a lot in common. Personality, we click very well, and we have a lot of common interests. We both like vintage video games and a bunch of other mutual interests. So, yeah, the fit with Gary is pretty well. And I get along really well with everybody on the team. And we're planning on going out there and running as many races as we possibly can.
All right. Well, man, thank you for taking the time to dive in on the incident. I'm sure people are going to ask about it. They definitely remember what transpired there at St. Louis. We're going to take a look at it. And I want to kind of hone in, not necessarily during the moment you described that, but the after effects and the realization of, wow, well, I finally did it. It's done. It's out of the way. And this is what Nitro drag racing can produce. The video right now.
And Jacob fireballs one down there. Tony goes 3.761, 325 miles an hour, and put Tony Schumacher in the number 9 spot. Jacob had one on fire. You see it trailing a whole lot of smoke down there. Take another look at this on the NHRA.TV replay. Jacob's car right there. Looks something broke in the driveline. You see the way that thing just slammed down? And then it started on fire. From my 1,000 foot away in the tower, I think I might have broke the crankshaft. Just the way that the engine kind of clamped down and clunk and all of the fire underneath it. It certainly wasn't any kind of a kablooey example, but that is not going to be a simple fix.
Well, that certainly was a nasty one. Also a strange one. I don't think I've seen a top fueler just go, quite like that. And did you feel like that moment and the negative G's in that moment? I know, drivers are like, okay, I'm expecting it when the parachute comes out, but did that catch you off guard a bit that it was right then? And apparently very violent for what was transpiring, it seems like.
I can't remember it very well. It's kind of fuzzy and it happened so fast. I wasn't able to properly, react to it and process it. And I remember the story that I first gave, and this is stuff that I've said to fans and, other people that asked me like, hey, what happened? And I was like, I kind of felt a little oomph, a little shudder in the back of the head. But, I watched the high speed footage and I was like, oh my God, my helmet almost went completely below the windshield. So, but that's what those, the Simpson hybrids and the Hans devices are for. They're to keep your head in one place. And when you mentioned that, that you've don't hardly ever see or haven't seen, a car do that. And I was watching a video last night about an explosion that Doug Herbert had that looked very similar. I believe it was from 2007. Or maybe a little earlier, but very similar thing. The car was hauling ass, and all of a sudden, it lost, all the cylinders just went dead. The car, clamped down, kissed the concrete, and then the engine went up in fire. I can forward you that video, I can forward you that after this video, if you would so desire.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see, because it doesn't seem to happen that particular way that often, and it was rather catastrophic. Yeah, you roll things back to the pit. How bad was it? I was there. I know how bad it was, and describe to everyone watching that wasn't at St. Louis how bad this engine failure was and how it affected your overall weekend.
The only thing that that I'll say is after that, this is what we all agreed on, is it could have been a lot worse. We were going through everything and overlooking the car, and we were starting to prep it for round 3 of qualifying, and I was confident to get in the car again because we did have a spare motor. But the biggest thing that ended our weekend was the motor plate was also bent from the crankshaft going. And it just goes to show how much energy, that's there, to be able to take out a motor plate. Like, I still have a lot of learning to do, so I really shouldn't comment on that very much. But the motor plate was bent, and that was, the last thing that took us out for the weekend. The event could have been a lot worse. I know that there's a photo out there somewhere of the engine aftermath, but it was not pretty. The blower was saved. The fuel pump was saved. The right cylinder head was fine, but the block and the left cylinder head were a loss. So, it could have been a lot worse because I had oil all over my tires almost, shortly after it happened. So, nothing in my current driving experience could have prepared me for something like that. I just reacted. And yeah. I have a lot more learning to do still, and I'm proud to say that.
Yeah. Yeah, you just, it's like, Bobby Bodie with his massive explosion he had at Houston. Like, you can't be prepared for anything like that. It's just got to happen. And you go through it, and you're like, oh, that's it. That's what it's like. And now I've gone through it, and maybe I can handle it differently next time. But, hey, you kept it off the wall, and it's all on the track. Big deal. Everyone has done that. It's a part of nitro racing. And even the big teams, they do that, and they have their days. So every team is going to have that happen in nitro racing. Now, overall, what was the process like first time ever, you're applying for a national event, you get there, you see the car, you get fitted in, and you're ready for qualifying, you go through qualifying, you're doing top end interviews, you're back at the pits, you're working with the crew. Give us some of the highlights of an overall weekend and what it was like, because you've been there before as a crew member, certainly, but this was your first time as driver. How did it feel with that responsibility on your shoulder? What were the differences?
First of all, it felt like my mind was on fire. Just taking everything in is like, oh my God. Like, this is actually happening. And I still can't believe, or I'm still trying to process that, that weekend actually happened. And just in a couple short weeks here, we'll be doing it all over again in Gainesville. And we're also, the plan that the Leverages and I have is we're shooting for anywhere between 8 to 10 races. So we're going to throw down in Gainesville, and Chicago is going to be next. Epping is also a must for us, and everything else that lines up after that is, we'll just take it one race at a time and see which ones are the best ones for us to run. I remember, before, everything was finalized before the race, Gary actually took the car down to my father's house, and we were working on his Top Fuel car inside my father's 2-car garage. It was actually pretty cool. We started pouring the seat there. We got the stickers that, needed to come off the car taken off, make sure the car was ready to, just basically pour oil in it and start it up. But still, nonetheless, it was pretty cool to, share that experience with my father about taking a Top Fuel car to the house that I grew up in. And it was cool. Hopefully I can do that again. It would be pretty cool to have that car there again. And yeah, enough about that. What else can I say? The next thing I want to talk about, if I can, if you don't mind me changing the topic, is I would like to announce, the sponsors that we've recently partnered with and are coming on board for 2023. BlackRock Industries will be the primary sponsor in Gainesville. They are a paving company out of Texas. We also would like to welcome aboard Goods and Tool and Supply, Burromax Mini Bikes, and Nelson Trucking will be sponsoring me to promote Big Brothers Big Sisters of America again. So that is also a continued partnership there. And, big shout out to Nelson Trucking and Dave Nelson for continuing to support me promoting that charity program. And Local 150 will also be promoting the Union Strong campaign again. And I'm still working on a few other things right now and, hoping to get them on the side of the car for Gainesville or, future events such as Chicago, Epping, and beyond. Once again, the goal is 8 to 10 races. And we would like to give the biggest, warmest welcome to our new sponsors. And the biggest one that we are working with is Till Valhalla Project. And we are working with them to raise awareness to the 22 a day campaign, to raise awareness about veteran suicide. And one thing that we are going to get out there in the works is we're going to hold a contest where we will have basically a raffle where we will decide a winner at random and choose a winner, which will be a veteran and their family, to join us in experiencing a day in a racer's life, and also working with the 22 a day campaign to raise awareness of veteran suicide. And that's very important to us because we have several veteran crew members working on our team, and it's they're also going to be bringing the tow vehicle down for us, and we're just looking forward to an awesome weekend. We're looking forward to 4 awesome qualifying runs, and we are very optimistic about heading to Gainesville.
Well, that's good news. Good news to hear of new partners being involved, and some that you had last year in your first ever national event, and optimistic on so many events this year. That is good to hear, because the more you're able to drive, the better you're going to be in time, and that team and everyone just being up to speed and doing the nitro burning thing out there in the NHRA. Now, when you are at home, though, and what allows you to go drag racing for a large part, what is it that you do? You have a blue collar side to you that people need to realize, that you've done something that you being educated, you having a good job, being a part of the union, all those type of things, you've been able to work it out where you can effectively go NHRA Top Fuel drag racing, and you're living out a dream. And that story in of itself is worth repeating and getting out there regularly. So what is it you're doing? How did you get there? What's the 9 to 5 look like, even if it is 9 to 5?
I'm a local 150 operating engineer by trade. I've been in that union for about 5 years, and it's my primary career and primary source of income, my bread and butter totally throughout. Everybody gets their jobs that, they like and dislike. I've had my handfuls of those. Right now, I'm currently running, it's an off-road forklift, but it's kept me employed through the winter. Steady employment, and I should be on that job until, I would say, May or June. Before that, I was running a hydro excavator for a company called Veterans Vac Services out of my hometown, McHenry, Illinois. That guy was an awesome guy to work for. Really cool dude. And, he's a retired Marine, and he went out and started his own hydro excavation company. And going through the apprenticeship, I learned a lot about the culture of the trade and the nature of the beast, and, just keeping going. I made a lot of friends in my union so far, and they're all pulling for me to keep doing this and representing them on and off the track. But at the end of the day, I'm no more important than any of those, than any of my union brothers and sisters. And I'm very adamant about that. I want to get that across because at the end of the day, I just have a cool side gig. But every day, the 9 to 5 grind, I just run a piece of equipment. I'm just a construction worker, that that has a rather expensive hobby.
Yeah, so what we're looking at right now, what is this particular piece of equipment? And it sounds like you're capable and you're trained to run just a myriad of equipment on a job site, wherever that job site may be.
Let me see. I have a lot more pieces of equipment that I should get certified in. And all I'd have to do is just, either get employed, in a position where I could receive training. But that machine that you just pulled up on the video screen there, that was one of Veteran Vac Services hydro excavators, one of the 3 that they used. They have 2 trucks that they own, and they were renting one. I ran all 3 of them when I was employed there. The hydro excavator was the first piece of equipment that I was actually introduced to when I went down for pre-apprentice evaluation. It's because Local 150 needed hydrovac operators so bad. And, they started introducing the pre-apprentices to it. And that was the first piece of equipment that I ever saw. And when I was a kid, my uncle, would bring me around skid steers and stuff and help with firewood or moving gravel around. But, my father is a 4th generation electrician, and I'm the first one of the family to break off and go to another union. And the reason why was, my father tried teaching me the craft and everything, and I know a little bit about it. I'm confident that I can do, the majority of electrical repairs in my house on my own. But I just really didn't have a passion for it like he did. So it was like, find a trade that you're passionate in and get into a union. And that's what I did. I like machinery. It fascinates me. And the earnings that I make working in a union have allowed me to pursue my passion and allow me to keep doing so.
That is a story worth telling, as I've said before, because I think that's the American dream. Go out there, work hard, and continue to move elsewhere where you may want to go, wherever you may want to go. And look, we were talking about drag and drive earlier. You were at a drag and drive event. You were testing again in Eric Morrison's funny car. Talk to me about some funny car action. Why go that route? I mean, you're in a top field dragster. Why a funny car and working that out with Eric in Eric's based out of Florida, I believe it is. So yeah, why taking some time to get in the Avenger funny car?
Eric and I met each other at the 2021 PRI show in December. And I was introduced to him through a guy named John Tillman, who also owns his own alcohol funny car that he's currently building. And Eric and I just hit it off right away. We became best friends overnight. That's just the way it felt. And the way, one of the reasons why I'm, working with Eric is one, that funny car is, we'd say it's considerably cheaper than running a funny car, a Top Fuel dragster for sure. But you can have just as much fun for a fraction of the cost. And Eric and I are planning on, like I've said, when I bumped, shoulders with you at a couple of, funny car chaos races or, national events, it's like, yeah, Eric Morrison and I are, planning on doing match races or eventually attending a funny car chaos event with that car. And Eric actually has another body laying around that we're in the process of working on and putting together. It's an 84 Fox body Mustang. And, we're working on getting new plexiglass, made for it and just making sure that all the fiberglass is repaired and looks good and ready to go. So the Avenger body in the future, will be Eric's. And, when I run the car, our plan is I'll be running the same funny car chassis with an 84 Mustang Fox body on it. So, yeah, Eric and I lined up. It took us quite a while to figure out that weekend to finally, for me to fly out and go down there and make some laps in the car. And, he had his own stuff to keep up on too. So, we kept, reaching out to each other on the phone and like, hey, can you come down to Florida this weekend? Or can I come down to Florida? Just constantly playing the phone tag game. And eventually, that weekend came up where Sick Week was down there and they were running their stuff and they allowed us to test there and make some hits. We made 2 runs in the car. The first one out of the gate was a half track hit, which was a really good run. Got better at learning how to do the burnouts because they don't have throttle stops on those funny cars, so that's something I'm learning. And, the pedal clutch car is a lot different than a centrifugal clutch car. It's, it's a night and day difference. And, the Top Fuel car, you just let go of the brake and stand on it when you see the ambers. With that alcohol funny car, it's a much different process and there's a lot more going on. But it's a fun car to drive. And Eric and I had a lot of fun that weekend. The second run was at night. And I had a pretty decent light off the tree, but it's a test run. Who cares about a light? Now that I think about it. The car pulled to the right. It went out of the groove. And before the 330 foot, it was shortly after the 60 foot, now that I remember the video that I saw of the night session run. The rear end kicked out, immediately lifted, and the car shut off. I believe it might be possible that when the car, righted itself and the tires caught up with the speed of the car, that it may be possible that the kill switch may have hit the mag switch, or something might have hit the mag switch. It's because the mag switch on the car has one of those flip protectors, so it's possible that flip protector came down and accidentally hit the switch. But still, I am very glad that the car shut off when it did, because I'm still learning the nature of top alcohol funny car and the nature of that beast. And there's a lot more going on in the seat of that thing than a Top Fuel car. And that may be something that not a lot of people might think is, what if I told you that, this alcohol funny car is more difficult to drive than a Top Fuel car? It's like, some people would say, well, what are you, nuts? And other people would say, oh yeah, like I could totally agree. It's a much different driving experience, but those alcohol funny cars are a blast, dude.
Stellar. Glad you're getting that experience in. Love it when drivers are multidisciplined within the racing world, whether it's drag racing, dirt track racing, stock car racing, whatever it is, or if they go beyond and just do racing in general. Love to hear that type of thing. You saw Drag and Drive, one of the big events of the year, Sick Week. What did you think of Drag and Drive? Had you experienced that at all before with any type of event, the way they do it and what they're doing in the cars they've got out there? Your thoughts?
I really didn't pay that much attention to what was going on outside of our operation, just being totally honest. All I know is that there were a lot of awesome hot rods there and a lot of really cool people there. But my primary responsibility for that weekend was learning how to drive that funny car. And I stayed close to our little circle. And the guys that Eric Morrison had down there with him were all really good help getting that car ready to go. And, I signed a bunch of hero cards, for fans that were walking by. It's like, saw a family with a group of kids. It's like, hey, you want some hero cards? Just some guy carrying a souvenir bag. It's like, hey, you want a hero card? And, just engage with them a little bit and just say hi and how do. But yeah, the primary goal of that weekend for sure was, learning how to drive the funny car and getting schooled on funny car. While I wish I could have paid more attention to, to what was going on there, I couldn't draw my attention away from Eric Morrison, that funny car, and the crew. And when you're learning how to drive something, it really doesn't matter what's going on around you. You need to, if you're there to do something, you got to keep your, you got to stay focused on what's going on and what you're there for. I heard that there was, there was a pretty bad wreck there, and I've been doing research on it today, and prayers to the driver and his family. Looked pretty bad. Other than that, it's, just glad that our testing session went well, and really looking forward to going back down to Florida sometime to make more runs in that funny car and get my advanced DT license with it.
Well, we're looking forward to you and Eric getting that thing out, doing match racing. Hopefully see you both at a funny car chaos event soon. That one in Maryland might just be the right one to check out and participate in. But Jake, look, continue to put in the good work and continue to keep pushing forward, because your story is a story that everyone can hear, and you're an example of like, hey, with hard work, you can get there. So keep up the good work. Anything else, man, on your end that we need to cover, need to talk about? I mean, a lot here. You're testing a funny car, willing to drive that, and Top Fuel more than just Gainesville this year with leverage racing, and got that one under your belt as we went over that as well. So anything else?
Pretty much, what I would like to say is, one thing, I got my new competition license in hand. I got a funny pair of shades to match yours. Yep. Join the Monday Morning Racer Shades Club. This is something that I wake up and tell myself every day is, if you have a dream and if you have a passion, pursue your passion. Don't pursue a paycheck, because if you don't try pursuing your passion, you will always live in doubt of if you would have been able to do it or not. So, and for me, living in doubt is not my idea of living. If you love something enough, and if you want it enough, you'll get it. Just keep pushing. What else can I say? Just looking forward to a really good start to the 2023 season. Going to be bringing a bunch of merchandise shirts to Gainesville. So if you're down there, keep an eye out for the trailer that I'll be selling them at there. The Nitro Het t-shirts, they look really cool. They are USA made. Same with the hats. And to my fellow competitors, best of luck to you. And have a safe, wonderful race here.
Yeah, man, definitely got to get one of those shirts. I like that, kind of using the meme head and throwing some Top Fuel pieces on it. I like that. That looks pretty good. I think that will sell well. It should do well out there in Gainesville. I imagine.
Yeah, like I tried to figure, kind of mix, a little bit of meme culture into, racing merchandise a little bit. It's kind of more targeted towards, people my age. But hey, Lee, when you come down to Gainesville, and if I see you down there, come by to the Leverage trailer and get a shirt and a hat on the house.
All right, man. Look, we appreciate it. Look, good having you on the show. Good talking. Glad that the story is continuing and you're living out a dream, and we're able to share that story right here on Between the Slicks. You keep up the good work, man.
let's talk about that fire suit. What do you think?
Let's do it. Yeah, because we were talking about it before. Let's do it. I like it. You've got a neat piece there in a fire suit. Take it away.
When I first started putting everything together and actually taking it seriously, that I was going to go test. I want a Speed Racer themed fire suit. Now I got one. It was just something I always wanted to do. Larry McBride has his Spider-Man thing. So I was like, if he's Spider-Man, I want to be Speed Racer. And just, I finally got my hands on it, and going to be using it until I got to get another one made. That would have sponsors put on it, or, I'll be using it in Eric's funny car for sure. Other than that, feels good to finally have that dream finalized too.
I like it, man. No, it's a solid looking suit, and hey, Speed Racer, obviously he knew how to get it done in the animated series, and maybe you can carry that over and get it done on the track as well and look cool while doing it. Man, look, keep dreaming on, keep working on, and success will come, and success already has come. So thank you for the time tonight, and we'll see you at the Gators, Jake.
You got it. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for being on. Folks, we'll take a quick break, then come right back.
If you own a beautiful modern muscle car like this 1320 Challenger, I'm sure you don't want it stolen. Because the Challenger and many other modern vehicles have an easily accessible neutral release strap. That was your coin holder in your central console, and beneath that there's this red cord that someone can pop, put it into neutral, and potentially easily steal your car. But at Destroyer1320.com, they have the TDS, Theft Deterrent System, which is a cover over that strap using factory mounting points so that you don't get popped by a thief. So make sure to go to Destroyer1320.com using promo code MMR for 15% off and get your Theft Deterrent System TDS and steal the thieves' hope.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight Between the Slicks with Jake Opatrny. Also, again, thanks to Michael Narks for coming on and giving us the inside scoop on Sick Week and Drag and Drive and what's going on there. A lot of great news in drag racing, well beyond what was shared here. Underway right now, lights out down there to South Georgia Motorsports Park in Valdosta. That is underway. You can see that on Flow Racing. And just saw that you have a live stream that you can share on Flow Drag Racing on Facebook, so you can check some of that action out even right now. Thank you for watching Between the Slicks. We'll be right here once again Thursday. I hope might be a little changes next week because I am going to be traveling to March Meet, but I will be in Southern California on Thursday. So we'll see who we have as a guest. We'll keep an outlook on the schedule. It's going to be getting crazy here soon because I have literally like March Meet, Gators, Funny Car Chaos Classic, Ennis, Texas, Phoenix, then Pomona or PDRA, Carolina Sprint Tour racing. When it starts, it's going to stay full song for the Monday Morning Racer. To all of you, thank you for watching. Hit that like button for me, hit the share button, and tell someone to come talk drag racing right here on Monday Morning Racer and on Between the Slicks. Until next time, God bless and keep the pedal to the metal.
Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom clean.